Greetings. Welcome back to Ministry Monday. This is Carlton Coon. Thank you for letting me have a few minutes of your life. Last week, we started talking about how to keep the cupboard full as a preacher. This week, I want to kind of elaborate on that a little bit. My approach has been to spend much of my life reading. I have an extensive library. Of course, as always, that kind of comes and goes. But I've discovered the concept, and I believe it's accurate consistently, that leaders are always readers. And in my personal approach to being effective with constantly being fresh in the pulpit, I have collected quite an array of sermon books. I have quite a few of Charles Spurgeon, some from Campbell Morgan, a number of other long since deceased preachers. Matter of fact, that's my preference, is to read books by fellows that are no longer on the scene. I don't think that I've ever preached one of those sermons just as it was written by Spurgeon or Morgan or anybody else, but what it does is it sponsors thought, fresh thought to me, and it helps me to consider the scripture and approaching it from a different perspective. And that helps me to always have additional thoughts available. And that's what keeping the cupboard full is really all about. The other thing that I practiced for a long time, don't do as well with this these days, but I always try to latch on to everything in audio that I possibly could. I have quite a collection of those old out-of-date cassette tapes, and there's a wealth of material, I'm sure, that is still there. CDs these days, there's just a wealth of stuff that's available online. I listen to a number of podcasts. It's interesting that much of what I listen to these days is business related, corporate related, because it again challenges my thinking and pushes me toward progress. I listen to TED Talks. Again, all of this is to attempt to keep myself thinking fresh and having fresh concepts and keeping the cupboard full of good material. You can't recycle very often. You can't, especially if you're a pastor, obviously, you have to come up with new material. And your people need to know that you have worked and that you have invested yourself through reading, through study, through listening, and then doing your best to bring those things together in a cohesive, relevant way to benefit your people. You can preach with freshness. You can have the cupboard full. It simply takes constancy and work. If you do good work in preparation, you will be doing a good job, as a rule, in the pulpit. Hope you have a great week. God's blessings on you. See you next week.